Hi, this is Sweet June. How's everybody doing today? A little frustrated today. I got a lot going on and just very frustrated. But I was marinating on something. Watched quite a few videos on YouTube, and I'm always adamant. I'm always adamant about talking against black women bashers. Black men bashing black women and black women bashing black men too. I don't like to see, I love my people and I don't like to see black people pulling each other down, putting each other down, fighting each other, killing each other. And I love my people and I don't like to see that. I want us to be unified, as a race of people, like we supposed to be, like we was back in the day. Um, and it kind of makes me heartsick to see um, all the injustices in the when you see look at black communities all over across the country, from my city all over the country, you see black people killing each other, black people robbing and stealing and killing from each other. And I was just marinating on something that I said a few days ago that when I came back from my vacation that my house was robbed, and I was just marinating on the fact that um, um, the people that robbed my house were black people. They were black. They were black guys. Black. I believe they were teenagers. My son let some people in the house, and either it was them or somebody that they knew that did it. And years ago, when I first moved into my house was robbed, and 9 times out of 10, those were black people too. Because at that particular time, there was a crack house next to me, and 9 times out of 10, I knew they were black. And I was just marinating on the fact that, it's really sad, that we are our own worst enemy. We are our own worst enemy. Um, do you know that I was just thinking, I am more likely to be killed by somebody of my own race than, even with all the police brutality stories that we hear, police killings and shootings and of black people, even all that stuff that we hear, 9 times out of 10, you are most likely to be killed of someone of your own race than you are to be killed by a racist white person. And statistically, that's a statistical fact. And, it's really, really sad. It's really, really disheartening, to hear that, to even when you really marinate on it and really, really, really meditate on it, it's really, really disheartening to know that someone of your own race can take you out, can do something really bad to you. And it just it just makes me heart sick to know. How we're like I said, looking in black communities across the country, from my city all the way across the country, black communities all over the country. It's the same thing. It is the same thing time and time again. You got murders, you got robberies, rapes, all that, and all other perpetrators are African Americans. I mean, it's a statistical fact. I mean, you can't get mad at the facts. They're the facts, you know. And it's really, really, really sad that we are our own worst enemy. We are our own worst enemy. And then I come on YouTube and I have to listen to thousands. Well, I don't look at all those videos, but I know that there's thousands of black men on YouTube that are consistently bashing black women, bad mouthing black women, saying horrible, nasty, terrible things about black women, Some of them even hate black women to the point to where they want us dead. They don't want us to live. And it really makes me heartsick to know that we got men in our own race that hate us just that much. When I know in my heart that there is a lot of good black women out there, including myself, that there is so many good black women out there. And it's a whole lot of us that don't deserve that we really don't deserve it. You know, we're good, hardworking, God fearing women that don't even fit into the category of the type of women that they even talking about. But because they're so bitter and so hurt, and they have so much hatred in their heart that they can't see through it. They can't see through all that. And it's the same with black women that come on YouTube and they, because they've had some bad experiences with black men, or they're going by some of the things that they see going on in the black community that black men are doing, and they just bash the whole race of black males. They just badmouth them, and they just say that all black men ain't no good, and I'm just gonna go to stick to white guys because all of them are no good and all this, and they're strongly encouraging other black women to do the same thing. And I know a lot of good black men out there, and I know that not all black men are horrible deadbeats and murders and all that kind of stuff. I know a lot of good black men out there. And it just makes me heartsick to see my own race of people just pulling each other down. Just just in all aspects, all levels. And we are our own worst enemy. And sometimes I think and meditate on the some of the solutions, like what are some of the things that we can do to stop this vicious cycle. Because for one thing, I think when it comes down to it, white people don't respect us. See, we sometimes we insult white people's intelligence. White people are not stupid, and they know what's going on in the black community. And even if you take a white person that is not trying to be racist, they're not trying to be biased, and they're not trying to be racist, and they're trying to be as open minded as they possibly can. When they take a look at what's going on in the black community, in the back of their mind, they probably can't help but to think, what is wrong with black people? What is wrong with those people? Why are they killing each other? Why are they doing these things to each other? Why are they tearing each other down like this? I know at some point those questions have to pop up in their mind. And at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of white people that don't respect us. And I think that that's why one of the reasons why racism is continuing to happen, because they don't, at the end of the day, don't have no respect for us, because guess what, we don't have respect for ourselves. We don't respect our own people. And if you don't respect yourself and you don't have no love for yourself and your own people, how you expect for somebody else to love you? If we don't have no love and respect for our own people, how in the heck are we going to expect white people to have love for us and respect for us? Because they're not, at the end of the day, they're not stupid. And I read some of the blogs and I read some of the things that the white people are saying. And, they talk about the stuff that goes on in the black communities. And I try to think of some possible solutions of what we can do to change this vicious cycle. And one of the things that we can do is educate our young people. That we have to start educating our young people, because the young people are, it's not the 30s and 40-year-olds running around here gang banging. I mean, on the average, I think it's the young people. It's the young people. It's the teenagers, early 20s or whatever. It's going around here doing all this gang banging and stuff, and robbing and killing and stealing and destroying. It's the younger generations that are doing these things. It is us up to us older black people to educate our young people. We have to educate our young people, and we have to tell our young people, educate our young people and tell them about how this system is set up. Teach them about systematic racism. First of all, educate them on our history in this country as African Americans and what our ancestors had to go through. And then educate them about the system and how the system is set up to work against you. Okay? And because the system is set up to work against you, your brother is not your enemy. You need to be trying to help your brother. You need to be trying to lift your brother up instead of bringing your brother down. And that's the problem. Our young people are not being educated. We cannot expect the school system to do it. The school system is not going to do it because guess what? The schools are ran by white people. So they're going to control what is being taught in those schools. It is our responsibility as black people to educate our young people. We need to educate our young people. We can't leave it up to white people to do it. It's not their responsibility. It's our responsibility. We need to educate our young people. Our young people are running out here and they're being ignorant. They're ignorant. And it is the reason why they're ignorant is because us older people are not educating them. And they're continuing to go perpetuate this vicious cycle of murdering, killing, and robbing, destroying, and just breaking down the community. And black men and black women, or black men particularly, are too busy pointing a finger at black women. Black women, black men and black women are too busy with this gender war, with this who shot John stuff, is that we're not doing that. Because black men and black women are too busy going at each other's throats about who's doing this and who's doing what. Black men blaming black women. If they're not blaming black women, they're blaming white men. And stay tuned, I might do a video talking about that. And black women and black men are so busy doing that that we're not thinking about our young people in the community that are ignorant, that are lost in their ignorance. And it's our fault. Like I said in some of my other videos that I didn't get a lot of hits on, the white people are not going to come in and fix our communities. They're not going to do it. It is not their responsibility. It's our community. It is up to us to fix our communities. It is up to us to grow our communities, to even police our communities, believe it or not, because we're the ones that live in the community. They don't live in our communities. We live in our communities. They so busy worrying about their community that they live in. Other races of people do it. We are the only race of people that are divided. All the other races of people stick together and they help one another out. I see evidence of it every day. I see evidence of white people sticking by each other, helping each other out. I see evidence of that every single day. And black people, we can't do it. You get a black person that get a certain level of success, and I'm not saying all of them, don't get me wrong, but a lot of black people, some black people that get to a certain level of success and they forget about where they come from and they forget about their communities. You know, we're like crabs in a barrel, always pulling each other down. We are our own worst enemy, and it's really sad. You know, we got to do better. We have to do better. And I really hate to say that some black people came and robbed my house, but they did. And they did it before. And I had a drive-by shooting at my house years ago, and they were black too. And it's really, really unfortunate that um, I'm more likely to be hurt or killed by somebody of my own race. When I'm a victim of a crime, it's usually someone of my own race that's doing it to me. My own people. They supposed my own. I figure my people supposed to have my back. If anything, they're supposed to be watching over my stuff and making sure people outside of the community don't come in and steal my stuff. We supposed to be watching each other over each other's stuff. We supposed to have each other's back, but we don't. And then we wonder why other races of people have no respect for us. We wonder why they don't like us when they treat us like this and they discriminate. We wonder. That's the reason a lot of times. They're not stupid. They see what's going on in the black community. Everybody knows if you don't love and respect yourself, nobody else is. Nobody else will. And that's what it all boils down to. We need to have more black businesses on a mass level. It needs to happen on a mass level, not in certain cities like Atlanta. It needs to happen on a mass level in every black community in America. We need to have black businesses. We need to. I go to the hair store to buy hair, not just hair weave and wigs, but black hair care products. Why I got to be looking at a Asian or a person of another race that's selling it to me? How come a black woman or a black man is not selling those products to me? And this is in other cities. This is going on in other cities across the board. It's really sad. And I'm not knocking. I love everybody. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I love all the races. But the point that I'm trying to make is we need to be owning our own stores in our own communities. When I go to the convenience store, or what they used to call them back in the day, mom and pop stores, they're owned by there's a store around the corner from me that the Arabs got it. The Arabs own the convenience stores are all over town here. And that's going on all across the country. Well, where's the black people that's owning those stores? They're in the black communities. This is a predominantly black community that I'm in. Why come a black person don't own the store? They come into our communities and make money off of us, and then they go back to their own community. Something is very seriously wrong with that. And that's because we don't stick together. We talk about the Mexicans and stuff like that. But the Mexicans, they'll pile up in one house. They'll get a 2-bedroom flat. It'll be like 10 of them mugs up in there, and they'll all be working, and they'll all save their money. And next thing you know, they done opened up a business. We can learn a lot from other races of people. We study other races of people, not just white people, but if we study other races of people, we will learn a lot from other races of people about unity, about working together, trying to build something together. Black people, we got to do better than this. We got to stop all this who shot John, this gender war. We got to start educating our young people. We are our own worst enemy, and it's a shame. I got worried about being shot, being killed, my house being robbed for somebody of my own race. I ain't worried about white folks coming up in here. I'm worried about black people coming up in here. When it comes down to it, it's really sad. The only time I worry about white folks is when I'm driving down the street. The only time I worry about white people is when I'm driving down the street. 50, the police. That's the only time I'm worried about white folks. But when I'm sitting up in my house and when I'm in my community, I'm worried about my own. Well, shoot, I hope they don't come up in here and do this and that and the other. It's black people that I'm worried about. It's really sad. I don't know. That was just something I was marinating on. It was just something that was on my heart that I felt like I needed to say. I was marinating on it. But black people, we got to do better. We got to stop all this stuff. This has got to stop. Or we're going to continue. We're going to wind up being a permanent underclass. We're going to wind up being a permanent underclass if we don't stop. Let me know what you think in the comments section. I got more interesting video topics coming up. I got my pork chops frying. I got to get to them. This is Sweet June.